So now, what we're going to talk about today is something. I know you guys want to talk about the news, but we have to talk about the news. Okay. The reason I want to talk about the news is I want to, because one of the major things in our classes, especially what we do on Friday, is detective skills, because I want you guys to be able to think critically and analyze what's going on, not only in a game, but analyze what's going on in the real world. That way, if somebody presents something to you, like, hey, I got this business idea, let's do, and you can look at the business idea and you can ask the proper questions and you'll be able to sense a scam when you see it. You see what I'm saying? This is the importance of it. Okay. Now, has to do with something, when we talked about this a couple, like last week or the week before, but the government shutdown. I think we talked about this 3 weeks ago, because the government shutdown's been going on since October 1st, right?
Yes.
And the shutdown, basically, we talked about how it went because the triangle people basically decided. Remember how they talked about the $1.5 trillion that was going to garbage? Remember, one of them was, cooking lessons for male prostitutes in Haiti, $3 million. And remember, we talked about, and the Doge, the Trump thing, Trump and Doge and Elon Musk got in there and they canceled a bunch of this stuff because it was a hustle, it was a scam. To get into the pile of money in the US, crooked politicians have to dip in there, send the money somewhere else, usually to a foreign country, for cooking lessons for Haitian prostitutes. And then the crooks, the money in the different country comes back to the politicians. So it's money laundering back and forth. We talked about that before. Remember that? And the reason they're canceled this is because we're getting to a point in the world now where the scams are over. See what I'm saying? We're ending the scams. The money stealing is over. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, here's what we're going to talk about. This is another scam that's ending now too. Actually, two scams that are ending now too. But it's in the illusion of a government shutdown. This government shutdown is an illusion. It's like a magic trick. The government shutdown is what the people see on the outside, but internally, it has to happen to end the scams. So the 1.5 trillion is ending. There's the bill is, I think it's 500 billion was going to health insurance for illegal immigrants. 500 trillion was going to illegal immigrants who don't deserve it because they're not citizens. That was all money laundering to the insurance companies, to the drug companies, to the politicians, to the crooks in foreign countries. It's all money laundering. That was ended. All these scams are ended. Now, the newest scam that has to end is, I don't know if you guys heard this word, is the SNAP program.
Nope.
Have you heard of that?
No.
No? It's not talking about that on TikTok or anything? This used to be called, back in the day, food stamps, where poor people would get money. It would be in paper form. It would look like money, but it would be cheaper money. But they would be sent it to the money in the mail, and then they would go to the store and they would pay for their food with this food stamp money. Okay? Now it's called SNAP. SNAP is Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's assistance program. It's supposed to help poor people that can't buy food. This has become an absolute scam. Now, when we're talking about this today, I want you to use your detective skills and try to see all the dozens of scams that are intertwined within this. Try to see it before. I'm just going to bite your face on it. Try it before I tell you the scam. See if you can sense it and see it. Okay. Okay. So this SNAP program, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. Now, there are approximately 32 million people in the USA, right? There are approximately 40, Well, you should. There are 40 million people in the United States on SNAP.
Okay.
That means there's 40 million people who don't work, don't want to work, aren't able to work, that are collecting this money. Doesn't this number seem kind of high? Remember, supplemental assistance is supposed to go to poor people who are unable to work. If they're unable to work, because they're either handicapped, they're unable to get a job, they've tried to get a job, they can't get one, there's something wrong with them, their legs don't work, and they need to eat or they'll starve to death. That's what it was set up for, to feed people who can't work. But right now, there are people who are on not only SNAP, but rent assistance. That's basically free rent. Free rent, free health insurance, free everything. Okay? Free everything. Free rent, free food, free electricity, free phones, free everything. There are people who are on these programs who have been on it since they were born. They've been on it since their parents have been born. And they have been on it since their grandparents were alive. So it goes from one generation to the next, with nobody in the family ever getting a job, ever working in a real job. Does that make sense at all? Does it make sense that the grandparents had to collect it because they were poor, sick, couldn't work, and then they had 7 kids, and the kids were all born with defects, and they all couldn't work, and then all their grandkids were born, and all of them were born with defects, and all of them couldn't work? Does that make sense at all? What makes more sense? They all chose not to work because they were getting everything for free. Correct? That's the first scam. 320 million people in the United States, 40 million, it's actually 42 million people who are on this SNAP program. That's 12.5% of the entire country. 12.5% of the entire country gets their whole life given to them for free. Does that make sense? That 12.5% of the country is crippled and unable to work. Right? Something's wrong. Something's wrong. That's the first sign that something's wrong. Now what you're seeing is going on is the people, this program, because the government's been shut down, this government program, supposedly the money runs out November 1st, which is Monday.
Oh, no.
So on Monday, all of this free stuff is going to end. Even the free rent. Even the free rent is going to end. Which means starting Monday, all these people who have been on this SNAP program for life are going to have to get a job and work. They're also going to have to get a job and work to pay their rent because the scam is over. Okay? But what's happening is you're seeing on Facebook and on TikTok all these people who are getting this furious, yelling at the taxpayers. You even see them if you look online. There's hundreds of them. They're yelling at the taxpayers. Taxpayers, you better pay me my money. You better buy me my food. You better pay my rent for me. It's your job to pay all my bills. I don't work. And when you see them in those videos, a lot of them are, you see these black people with these very pretty fancy haircuts, orange braided all the way down. Those hairstyles cost between $500 and $1,000. You see them with the long nails, the manicured long nails? Those cost hundreds of dollars, $200-$300. How are they paying for that stuff when they say they can't even pay for food and rent?
Great question.
Here's the scam. What you're seeing now on Facebook is there are a lot of black people, good black people, who are, remember I talked about before ghetto fatigue?
Yeah.
That the good black people who are working hard and hardworking people are saying, I'm gonna tell you what's going on, because they're breaking the scam. They're sick of the scam. They're saying, I'm gonna tell you what's going on. You wanna know how these people can afford all this stuff? You wanna know why they're really mad that SNAP has been canceled? It's not because of the food. They can get food. They can buy food. They can steal food. They're not mad about that. What they're mad about is what they're doing with the SNAP. what the guys are saying, what these ghetto whistleblowers are saying, is that people will take, like a lady who has maybe 3 kids will get each month $4,000 in SNAP, Supplemental Assistance Program, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program money. Okay? She doesn't want necessarily that much in food. Now, this was meant for nutrition. It's meant to go and buy milk and eggs and steak and chicken, but many of them are buying soda and potato chips and junk food because they don't have the expensive food. You know how many people in India who are poor or in the Philippines would love to get $4,000 a month in free money so they can go buy steak and chicken? You know what I mean? What they're doing is they're getting the SNAP money. Now, I want you to see the scam.
Yes, I'm seeing.
They're going to stores like Walmart and Target and other stores who are offering to buy their SNAP from them. We'll buy your SNAP from you, but we're not going to pay you $4,000 for it. We're going to give you $1,000 for it. This place has become a pawn shop for SNAP. They're buying this for 25 cents on the dollar. Now, follow along and see where the scam is coming out. Now, this is just one of the stores doing it. This is the biggest one. The reason everyone's talking about this one is because Walmart just came out and made a big statement saying, if you cancel the SNAP program, we're going to go bankrupt. What? How is one of the biggest chains in the world going to go bankrupt? And they probably won't go bankrupt. They're just making a big deal about it. But they're saying canceling the SNAP program is going to cost them so much money. They're going to start not making a profit. They're going to start going into negative money. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? You're selling food. You get millions of customers. How is that going to end it? Because of this. Okay? Now follow along. Okay? Here's what's going on. You can follow along. If you're buying $4,000 per person in SNAP and you're giving them $1,000 in cash, where does the money come from to get the fancy haircuts and the fancy nails and the fancy jewelry and the shoes? They're getting $1,000 a month cash that they didn't work for. Plus, they're getting the rent and everything else for free already. Plus, they're stealing the food. This is where the haircuts are coming from. What does Walmart do now? Walmart can't just cash that in. You see what I'm saying?
They gotta buy food.
They got to buy food. Now, if say, for example, you spent $1,000 in Walmart. That's how much you spent in Walmart. Is that how much money Walmart made? What do you think their profit is? Let's go with that way. You know, we've been in business before like that too. We would maybe it's about 50%. I would say even 60%, maybe 40%. Let's go this way. So if Walmart sells $1,000 worth of food, let's say that food cost them $600. So they basically made $400 profit. Right? Does that make sense with me so far? $4,000, $400 profit if you spend $1,000. Okay? If they can trade in the food stamps for 25 cents on the dollar and turn that $1,000 that they gave you in cash into $4,000, what they do now, you ever see, we've seen it all the time. You go to Walmart and it's a big thing now and you wonder, well, how did this start? And it started with the pandemic or the scamdemic. But you'll see in Walmart the people walking around with those big carts where they're filling them up with food and they're scanning everything on the shelf, right? They put them on the thing and then somebody parks outside of Walmart. They open up their trunk and here's all the food you bought. Where you don't even have to go into the store to buy it. I will fill your cart for you, right?
Yeah.
How easy would it be to have those those store shoppers, whatever they call them. Walmart puts this in the credit machine. They walk around the store, beep, 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 beep. $4,000 worth, probably not all at once, probably $1,000 a week, $1,000 a week, $1,000 a week, $1,000 a week. They spent on that person's card $4,000 in the month. The food isn't sold, it's still on the shelf. They're just scanning it because it's a fake shopper. Walmart gets $4,000. The food is still there to be resold. Now, Walmart, instead of making $400 profit on that $1,000, they just made $4,000. They 10 times their money. Can you see that? Why is Walmart saying they're going to go out of business? Because their scam is going to end. They're not going to make 10 times as much money as they're supposed to more from their scam. They're going to have to sell food legitimately. You get it?
Yes.
This whole thing is a money laundering scam. Now, here's another thing. This, don't forget too, on here, wait, I'm with the,
What?
with the, we talked about before. Let me see. Let's do it this way. Remember we said 40 million people are on this snap, right? We just,
Yes.
we're just talking, no, it's important to know that around 40 to 50% of these people are Muslims, not citizens, right? So they're not supposed to be getting it. 20 to 30% are illegal from other countries. Mexico, Venezuela, all those countries. They're illegals, whatever. I'm just
Illegal.
so 90% of the, and then there's the ones that are capable of working that don't want to work. No, your typical Black people who have been getting it since their grandparents and their parents and their 90%, 90 to 95% of the people getting this are either illegal or are able to work. They're physically able to work. They just don't want to work. They choose not to work. So almost all of the money being spent on this is wasted.
2 million people losing their SNAP benefits come November 1st. And then when I look at the numbers of the amount of people and where they're from, I'm going to say this is a much needed process, bruh. Because you're telling me of the 42 million people, only like 30% of that 42 million are actually Americans? And I mean 30% of the 42 million are actually Americans who were born here, who are disabled, who are veterans, who are actually people who literally and actually need this assistance. Because if I'm looking at this report that says 51% of the total number of people that are receiving these SNAP benefits are purely because of their religious beliefs, meaning these people are Muslims or from the Islamic religion, Islamic countries. They're from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Somalia, these places. And they're receiving these benefits purely because, for one, their women aren't allowed to work. Their women are allowed to have multiple children. They are 100% supposed to be home to cherish and nurture their children. Their husbands are allowed to have multiple wives, and with those multiple wives, having multiple children, meaning they're getting multiple thousands of dollars per month. And if you think about it, it makes total sense why the Americans that are getting the pocket change, who are not having kids, and even if they're having kids, they got like 2, 3 kids, and then their 2, 3 kids are disabled, right? And then they're the ones making all the noise because they're getting pocket change when these people from the Islamic countries are getting thousands and thousands of dollars, and they're in a household with 3 other women that are filing for these benefits as head of the household. So in the one house, there are 4 wives getting like 4 or 5 grand a pop because they have like 4 or 5 kids a pop, right? And their husbands are just going out to these meetings trying to convert more people. But at the end of the day, they're getting like $15,000-$20,000 a month for the one household. And who knows how many bank accounts they have. No wonder when I see these people going out on vacation, they're just so comfortable. And it's like irritating, but
Now, what are these people doing with that money? Because a lot of them are working under the table. You know what under the table working means? You work at a Home Depot, you work for cash, you don't pay taxes, so you're working for cash. And a lot of them are living in big houses with 4 or 5 families sharing the house. Because the rent is paid for through free rent, the food is paid for, the electricity is paid for, everything is for free. Then they're getting this SNAP, they're trading it in Walmart. What are they doing with the cash? They're sending it. You ever hear of remittance?
No.
Remittance is like when mom goes to, when someone, like recently, the Philippines had that big earthquake, and everybody was starving, so we sent them money to buy rice and food so they can survive. So you can go either to Western Union or to a store and buy remittance, or mom can do it on the phone, just give us the credit card, and then it's sending money from this country to another country. So we send money to the Philippines so they can eat. They're taking this money, the cash, remittance,
However you spell
yeah, and they're sending it back home to their home country, and their families back in their home country are buying homes and houses and lands and farms so that when they're done stealing money from the country, they can go back to their country and live like kings.
it. Oh, great.
So you see how this whole thing is going on? Money laundering. This is money laundering 101 school. Now, what do the triangle people get out of this?
Good question.
Number one, the triangle people own Walmart, so they're making a lot of money, and triangle people own the companies. What else do they get out of it?
Votes.
Votes. Very good, Ange. They get votes. 40 million. It's actually 42 million people. You guys keep voting for us. We'll keep giving you the freebies. And again, we talked about before, do they really have to go and vote and physically vote? No. They only have to be registered to vote. All the Muslims, the illegal immigrants, all these, they have to be just registered to vote. The Democrats don't care, or the triangle people don't care if you show up to vote. They will vote for you anyways. They got a record of your social security number, even if it's a fraudulent social security number. They will vote for you. They will vote for themselves for you. They'll send it in by mail-in ballot. They'll come in the middle of the night in trucks with the ballots that they filled out for you. They'll vote for you, and they will remain in power. So the scam is, you let us keep voting for you. We'll stay in power. We'll keep giving you the freebies. And what else is going on is, if this ever gets cut off, like this is getting cut off now, you guys start threatening people that you're going to beat them up, rob them, and hurt them if we don't reinstitute it. And that's what you see what's going on a lot now online. People are threatening that during trick-or-treating and Halloween, they're going to kick people's doors in and rob them. They're going to have their kids trick-or-treat, they're going to kick the door in, rob them, because the benefits have been cut off. It's all over the thing. They're even contemplating canceling trick-or-treating because it's going on. I'm going to watch, you guys are going to watch a quick video. I only got it on my phone because it was very hard. I couldn't get it offline. I had to copy it from my phone. But I'm going to show you a video. This is a video of just two
TikTokers.
they might be, I don't know, they're on some social media, but they're two what you call influencers, right?
Yes.
And they're online, and they're saying, here's what we should do because our money's been cut off. Here's what we should do, or here's the scam.
Okay, sure.
Okay? But what's unusual about it, the words that are coming out of their mouth are the exact same words. They're showing them side by side talking, and they're saying the exact same words. Excuse me. They're saying the exact same words. And when I was watching online, there are hundreds of people who are influencers who are saying the exact same words. How could they be saying the same exact words? Use your detective skills.
They were told to.
They were handed a script. They were handed a script and they were told to say it. Okay?
Okay, show us. Show.
Holy shit. I have been a skeptic from the beginning, but I think we're about to find out that the Democratic shutdown strategy was genius. Because the Washington Post just broke some news.
A bombshell.
Enrollment isn't available yet. What they found is because of Donald Trump, health insurance prices are set to increase by 18% this year, but that's not even close to the whole thing. Because that 18% price increase doesn't include the subsidies expiring. Once you add in the cost that you're going to have to pay because Donald Trump's one big beautiful bill canceled the subsidies, the average annual cost for individual coverage is going to jump from $888 this year to $1,904 next year. That's a 114% increase in the cost of health insurance in 1 year. And if they find a way to preserve the subsidies, it will be exclusively because Democrats refused to let it go. And because Americans refused to buy the bullshit Republican lie that this was all about providing free health care for illegal aliens. Trump's approval rate.
Using your detective skill, what the hell's going on? Who gave him that script? What's going on? Who gave him that script? Who's losing money and claiming they're going to go bankrupt? Triangle people, but in particular, what store?
Walmart.
Walmart says they're going to go. They're going to lose billions of dollars if you cancel the SNAP program. Why?
Billion.
Because they're 10 timesing their money illegally. So who stands to lose a fortune in scam money? Walmart. I'm not saying I don't have any evidence at all that these people have paid them. Someone's paid them. They didn't write the same speech exactly. And that's just two. There are hundreds of people saying that exact same speech on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube. They're saying the same speech. I was looking it up. I just had a hard time finding two that were put together like that. There's hundreds of people saying that. Someone's paying them. Like you see the protests. Why is everybody out there in expensive gear, expensive masks, all the same outfits, all the same backpacks, all the same signs? Someone's paying for that. So, on the good side, that's what the government shutdown was all about. It's an illusion. It's not real. It's an illusion. It is shut down, but is it shut down because a certain group doesn't want to open it? No, it's shut down on purpose. It's shut down on purpose. Why? Why do you think it's shut down on purpose? Remember, I told you the world is moving to a good side now. The world has had enough of this crooked criminal scams, and it's moving to the good side. Why is the government shut down? Because the government, remember how Elon Musk, the US aid, they canceled all these bullcrap programs that were scams and hustles, and then they canceled the $1.5 trillion in fraudulent health insurance and other scams. Why? They're trying to save the people who are working and paying taxes money. Why has this been shut down, the government? To on purpose cancel all the programs. The SNAP program has been a scam since the beginning. Government-assisted rent has been a scam since the beginning. Free everything has been a scam since the beginning. Government shutdown is an illusion to shut down all the illegal programs in the world, or at least in the United States, that are a hustle for triangle people to make money, to buy votes, and to keep paying bad people to do bad things in order to keep them in power. So the government has to stay shut down. These things have to be shut down, have to be closed, because they have been scams and they're robbing the country. Watch what happens when it cancels completely. Is there a reason for the Muslims and the illegals to stay in the United States? No. You can stay if you want, get a job and work, but your free money is gone. Your free insurance is gone. Your free rent is gone. You want to stay and work, work. But the free hustle, keep voting for your friends, and they keep sending you money, is over.
Cool.
Does that make sense? Any questions? Hey guys, this is a follow-up to yesterday's lesson. I didn't even want to do the lesson with the rest of the kids here because they get upset when I talk about anything bad that's going on in the world. But I had to get this put on the tape. In yesterday's lesson, we talked about how the illegal immigrants are not only getting free rent, free phone, free electricity, free healthcare, but they're getting free food in the amount of around $4,000 or $5,000 a month, free everything. Today, I found out it's way, way, way more than $4,000 or $5,000 a month they're getting. A lot of them are getting between $15,000 and $20,000 a month in free food. You know how much $20,000 a month is? That's $240,000 a year. Lawyers, doctors don't make that much money. A cop makes about $60,000 a year. They're making more than 4 police officers make in a year, and they're not working. And that's without taxes being taken out of it. That's 100% free money on top of the free rent, free healthcare, free everything else. So they're getting about $500,000 a year for free. Not even citizens of the country. I'm going to show you a couple of clips. I'm going to show you a clip of someone else saying the same thing that I'm saying. And I'm going to also show you a receipt that a Venezuelan immigrant left at the store on accident. And he left it on the accident at the store. One of the people at the store who worked in there took a picture of it because she couldn't believe it. He had on his receipt $14,000 left on his EBT SNAP benefits card. At the end of the month, the money is put on the card at the first of the month. So November 1st is in a couple days. The first of the month, that's when the card gets loaded with new money. At the end of the month, they've already spent all the money. This guy, at the end of the month, on the 31st of the month, still had $14,000 left on his EBT card. That's free money to buy food. So at the beginning of the month, he must have started with $20,000 or $25,000, and that's what he has left. Without working. The rest of us have to bust our ass, work our ass off, pay taxes like crazy, pay for our own health insurance, pay for all of our own insurances, pay for our own rent, pay for our own food. I just went to the store and I bought some food. All I could buy was $100 worth of food because that's all I had with me. And I'm thinking to myself, I saw this. I'm spending $100 on food, and that's all I can afford. And this guy's got $14,000 left. I'm going to show you the videos. I'm pissed. Look at this receipt. This is an illegal immigrant who has got a balance right there on his food stamp SNAP card of $13,400. So it means he can buy still $13,400 worth of food still. $13,000. And if he just goes to the store and cashes the money and cashes and says, you know, I can't eat that much food, just give me the cash, he can get in cash $4,498. Now here's the scariest part. Look at the date on this thing. 7/31. That's the end of the month. So after spending money all month, this is still what he's got left on there. $13,000. What did it start with? $20,000? At the food stamps get entered in there on the first of the month. This is the 31st. The end of the month, he's got $13,400. Oh my God. I just went to the store and spent $100 on food, and that's all the money I had in my friggin' pocket. Pissed off right now. I don't know what to say other than these benefits to illegal immigrants, illegal Muslims in this country, and the illegal immigrants in this country have to end. I'm glad the government is shut down. I'm glad the SNAP thing is being canceled. I hope it's canceled forever because it is unfair for the people who don't work their whole life to get more, in many cases, 10 times more than the people that work their asses off. It's not fair. I'm glad the government shut down. I'm glad the SNAP is being canceled. I hope it's canceled for life. I hope their rent, their insurance, their SNAP, everything is canceled for life. They get the hell out of this country, go back to their country and bust their ass like everybody else. I'm tired of it. Sorry for ranting, but it was a bad day. Thanks.